6:15, this is a Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Lavani Vichetunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The President says Sri Lanka needs to excel in healthcare to attract medical tourists. Over 6,300 people hit hard by torrential rains, landslide warnings extended. Measures will be taken to upgrade 902 notices that will affect the Excise Act. An extraordinary gazette concerning the new Anti-Corruption Act released. The Foreign Employment Bureau will provide necessary finances to the proposed housing projects to be commenced on behalf of the migrant workers. In news overseas, more than 820 dead after strong Morocco earthquake. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says it is imperative for Sri Lanka to excel in healthcare in order to boost medical tourism. Addressing an event yesterday, the head of state also emphasized the necessity to restructure healthcare policies and increasing the number of medical colleges to address the shortage of doctors, according to the president's media division. President Wickremesinghe attended the centenary commemoration of Joseph Fraser Ninewell Hospitals and paid tribute to the legacy of Joseph Fraser, a Scottish planter who played a pivotal role in Sri Lanka's tea industry during its formative years. He emphasized the necessity for restructuring healthcare policies and increasing the number of medical colleges to address the shortage of doctors. The President further acknowledged the challenges posed by the shortage of doctors and stressed the importance of developing an effective solution. He also announced plans to establish the first non-governmental medical faculty in Sri Lanka, a significant step towards expanding medical education opportunities. Furthermore, President Wickremesinghe highlighted the allocation of the South Asian Institute of Technology and Medicine SITEM to the University of Moratuwa, aiming to create more medical education institutions. He expressed hope that the government would support the establishment of additional medical colleges and universities, ensuring that Sri Lanka can produce more doctors. The Disaster Management Centre says that more than 6,300 people in 14 districts across the country have been affected by the torrential rainfall prompted by the active southwest monsoon conditions. According to the reports, more than 4,300 hit hard by the adverse weather conditions were from the Colombo district. The Meteorology Department said showers or thunder showers can be expected in parts of the western, Sabaragamuwa, southern and northwestern provinces, as well as in the Kandy and Nuwara Eliya districts in the coming hours. According to the department, fairly heavy falls above 75 millimeters is possible in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Puttalam, Galle and Mathura districts. Meanwhile, the National Building Research Organisation has extended the landslide warnings issued to Kalutara, Ratnapura, Galle, Kandy and Kagala districts. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank Excelsior. Live the life you want.
And we continue with more local news. State Minister Ranjit Siamlapity says that measures will be taken to upgrade 902 notices that will affect the Excise Act and trading. The Excise Act, which is more than 100 years old, will be upgraded to suit the modern world. He further stated that the objective of this move is to obtain state income. He made these remarks while participating at a ceremony in Ruanwala area. The Minister of Justice and Prison Affairs, Dr. Wijayadas Rajapaksa, has issued an extraordinary gazette concerning the new Anti-Corruption Act. The new act is set to become effective from the 15th of this month. Minister Manu Shananayakara says that the Foreign Employment Bureau will provide the necessary finances for the proposed housing projects to be commenced on behalf of the migrant workers. He stated this project will be initiated by the Bureau and the National Housing Development Authority. A cabinet paper will be submitted to the Parliament in this regard. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The President says Sri Lanka needs to excel in healthcare to attract medical tourists. Over 6,300 people hit hard by torrential rains and landslide warnings extended. Measures will be taken to upgrade 902 notices that will affect the Excise Act. an extraordinary gazette concerning the new Anti-Corruption Act released. The Foreign Employment Bureau will provide the necessary finances to the proposed housing projects to be commenced on behalf of the migrant workers. And that was the local news.
People's Bank Excelsior, a comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you. People's Bank Excelsior, for professionals who dare to dream.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The main news story for this evening, Minister Mahinda Amaraveera said that the payment of compensation for the farmers whose crops were damaged due to the floods and the droughts will be expedited. A huge damage has been caused by the drought and the heavy rains. The minister also pointed out that at this instance of economic crisis, the opposition should also act responsibly. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
In Washlai this evening, a special traffic plan will be in place in view of the Colombo leg of the 2023 Asia Cup Cricket Tournament with the first match scheduled for today. The police stated that the traffic plan will be in place for the matches scheduled on the 9th, 10th, 12th, 14th, 15th and 17th of September 2023. The special traffic plan will be implemented from 12 p.m. on the set dates they added. The police have announced a traffic plan for those with special permits for the matches and ordinary spectators. The police have requested other motorists to use the alternative routes as there could be heavy traffic due to the cricket matches. And that came to you in Watch Light.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
It's the power to live life your way. The power to be a trendsetter. Power to you with digital banking from Commercial Bank. Commercial Bank. Our interest is in you.
Headlines of the world news. More than 820 dead after strong Morocco earthquake. India says consensus reached on G20 declaration. The Maldives heads to polls amid India-China rivalry, fears for democracy. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the world news. More than 820 people have died after a powerful earthquake struck central Morocco, according to the country's interior ministry. The quake, measuring 6.8 magnitude, sent people rushing into the streets in Marrakech and other cities. Many of the deaths were said to be in the hard-to-reach mountain areas, and at least 153 people were injured. It struck this morning at a relatively shallow depth of 71 kilometers southwest of Marrakech, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. Unverified video clips on X showed damaged buildings and rubble-strewn streets. G20 President India says a consensus has been reached on the joint declaration. World leaders, including Joe Biden, Rishi Sunak and Emmanuel Macron, are in Delhi to attend the G20 summit. Earlier in the day, the African Union was invited to join as a permanent member of the G20. Two big names, Russia's Vladimir Putin and China's Xi Jinping, aren't at the summit, with representatives attending on their behalf. The leaders are discussing issues including climate change, food security and debt restructuring for poorer countries. The Maldivian President Ibrahim Mohamed Solih is pulling out all the stops to win re-election. In the lead up to today's poll, the 61-year-old has handed out deeds of plots of land that are yet to be reclaimed from shallow lagoons, promised a 40% wage increase for the country's bloated public sector, and even waived off all fees for parking violations committed over the past 5 years. The incumbent faces stiff competition from the pro-China mayor of the capital Male, Mohamed Muiz, who, in a crowded field of other 6 candidates, many of whom are likely to split the president's voter base. And that was the world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
This message is for all the kids between the ages of 4 and 16 who love to draw. Commercial Bank's Arunalu Sittam is back once again. This time, the competition is also open to Sri Lankan kids currently living abroad. First, second and third place prizes will be awarded along with special merit and merit certificates. For more information, visit the Commercial Bank website. We have so many prizes to be won.
In development news, Beliyatha Hal Pantheniya Weber will be reconstructed by the Irrigation Department. More than 10 million rupees will be allocated in this regard. The water supply will be provided to 250 acres of paddy land by the renovation of this Weber. That was the development news, and now let's move on to sports news. The matches of Super 4 rounds of the Asian Championship Cricket Tournament will be held in Colombo. Arrangements have been made to conduct 5 matches and the final match at the R. Premadasa International Stadium in Colombo. The first match is being played between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Batting first, Sri Lanka scored 163 runs for the loss of 4 wickets at the end of the 36th over a short while ago. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life ekේ change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dakapu gina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship ekamenna.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Ayur Expo 2023 International Seminar, Education and Trade Exhibition will be held at the BMICH today and tomorrow. The research on new indigenous medicine system and new innovation will be launched. The aim of this move is to upgrade the indigenous medicine system in the country. That was the business news, and economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life ekේ change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dakapu gina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship ekamenna.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, an auction to release treasury bills worth over 160,000 million rupees will be conducted on the 13th of this month. These will be issued expiring with 91, 182 and 364 days. Accepting on bidding will end at 11 a.m. on the same day. That is the economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report.
And finally, moving on to the weather report, showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, southern and northwestern provinces and in the Kandy and Nuwara Eliya districts. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters are likely at some places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Putthala, Galle and Mathura districts. A few showers may occur in the Mannar, Vavuniya and Anuradhapura districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at several places in the Uva province and in the Batticaloa and Ampara districts during the evening or night. Fairly strong winds about 45 km per hour can be expected at times in the western slopes of the Central Hills, the northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Trikavali and Hambantota districts. And before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. The President says Sri Lanka needs to excel in healthcare to attract medical tourists. Over 6,300 people hit hard by torrential rains and landslide warnings extended. Measures will be taken to upgrade 902 notices that will affect the Excise Act. An extraordinary gazette concerning the new Anti-Corruption Act released. The Foreign Employment Bureau will provide necessary finances to the proposed housing projects to be commenced on behalf of the migrant workers. And in news overseas, more than 820 dead after a strong Morocco earthquake. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. Now it's back to your regular Saturday evening host, my good friend Shantima, on the other side of the glass panel to keep you entertained.